Hey guys! If you haven't yet, please pause this video and watch part 1 first, so you'll be all caught up. You can also find a link to part 1 in the description section below. It's the first video link. So let's pick up right where we left off. We all know Afro textured hair in general gets single strand knots, but it's more severe for textured low porosity hair because tight cuticles make the strands more stringy. So when a strand sheds, rather than just sliding out like with straight hair, it's like a spring that jumps out and gets wrapped around other hair strands to create knots. Of course, there's other ways to get knots, but this specific way is more common and intense for textured hair with tight cuticles. Here are 3 simple solutions. Option 1. Fuzzy, untamed ends make these type of knots worse. So trim your ends on a schedule or dust your ends often. Option 2. Just like with high porosity hair, keeping low porosity hair stretched is also very beneficial for length retention. Properly stretched hair is obviously less springy, so when a strand sheds, it slides out rather than jumps out. Here's a link to a video that goes over in detail why it's so important to stretch your natural hair if you want length retention. And option 3, finger detangle on a schedule to carefully remove shed hair so they don't have the opportunity to damage other hair strands. I'm gonna ask you a question. Tell me if you can relate. You ever watch your favorite YouTuber wash, condition, moisturize, and put their hair in 2-strand twists? The next morning, unravel those same 2-strand twists to rock a juicy, springy, beautiful twist out like it's nothing, and have the nerve to tell you it's all because of one miracle product. But when you go to do the same exact thing, you end up with a twist out that looks something like this. That's so annoying. Sorry, I bust out in song and dance for no reason sometimes. Anyway, back to being serious. Don't worry, you don't have bad hair. Nothing is wrong with your hair. For most of you, it's because your cuticles are tight and very low in porosity. Let me show you a visual to help you understand. When your hair is wet, your cuticles relax a bit because the pH of plain water is usually around a 6, sometimes even a 7, which is a bit out of the acidic range. I definitely don't have enough space in this video to go over pH in more detail. Here's a link to a 2-part series I did on pH. It goes over everything you need to know to understand what I mean. Anyway, back to what I was saying. When your hair is wet from water, your cuticles relax. That's one of the reasons why your 2-strand twist looks so damn good and fluffy when your hair is wet. More intensely for people with low porosity, kinky, tightly curly hair. As your hair dries, your cuticles tighten and constrict like a snake, causing your hair to shrink and take on the 2-strand twist pattern a little too much and too tight. So when you wake up the next morning to undo them, your cuticles has tightened so much that your twist out is wiry, flat, stiff, and overly unruly. FYI, each bend where the cuticle tightened sends that hair strand to a different direction. So that's why your twist out isn't all going one direction and laying flat. I hope this made sense because here are some solutions. Option 1, use heat in the form of a blow dryer. Again, I know this is a touchy subject and I'm going to break this topic down in a future video. But for now, remember 2 things. There's a big difference between proper use of heat and incorrect use of heat. And over manipulation of your hair can cause just as much damage as heat can, if not more. So if used correctly, heat can actually save your hair from excessive damage. Anyway, a great solution to knots is to lightly blow out your hair using the tension method. Your goal isn't really super stretched hair, and you don't need a lot of heat to help relax your cuticles enough to keep them from tightening too much and becoming stiff. You don't need to set your blow dryer to hot either. A medium setting will do. Here are some links to great videos on YouTube on how to safely blow out natural hair. Option 2. If you don't feel ready to start using heat to achieve successful twist outs, You have a more manual option. As you normally would, wash, condition, and moisturize, and put your hair into anything from 6 to 18 Bantu knots, based on how dense your hair is. Leave your hair in the Bantu knots until it's about 70% dry. Based on your hair's porosity and the size of your sections, it'll take anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours. Then unravel a section at a time. I let my hair dry out too much by accident, but this is a great opportunity to show you why it's important not to let your low porosity hair dry all the way, especially if it's dense. My cuticles tightened too much and made my hair stiff and hard. Some of the strands tightened more than others, so there's a lot of tangles and my ends appear uneven. It's really fragile and breaks a lot in this state. If you want length retention, this is what you should always avoid. For people with high porosity, other than separating them, this is where you should stop because Bantu knots should have been enough to give you a smoother stretch. But for low porosity hair, some more work is needed. Use a little oil to separate, detangle, and preen or smooth down the length of your hair to manually relax and fluff it out. Depending on how tight your hair's texture is, low porosity hair usually needs more effort to help smooth it down and make it less wiry and stiff. Here's the difference between a heat and a heatless twist. You end up with a more uniformed twist out, just like the people on YouTube. By the way, my twist out in this picture was achieved with heatless twist. These two videos are jam-packed with a book of information on low porosity hair, how to identify if your hair is low in porosity, and real solutions on how to avoid common setbacks associated with low porosity hair. Please share it with anyone you feel will benefit from it. In the next video, I'll go over all the do's and don'ts, as well as some pros and cons to low porosity hair compared to high porosity hair. Don't forget to take some time to watch the reference videos in the description section below. Follow me on Instagram to access a catalog of quick tips, exclusive Instagram giveaways, and hopefully some natural hair inspiration. As always, thanks for watching. See you in the next video.